Where's the screen button? And we're back.
We're back, bumble bitches.
I just realized that I had multiple screens going. So that's a thing. And your camera has somehow moved.
Has it?
Yep, look how big you are over there.
Oh, wow.
Did I move?
You look...
What is going on here?
I don't know. There's a lot going on.
How about that? How's that look? That looks way better. My camera must have moved. So much shit going on.
So much shit going on.
So, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing the thing.
Let's get it, Carl's mom. Oh, Carl's mama. We're baking.
We are going to have a conversation, and then we're going to read some love stories if we get to that point. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So, it's no secret that I'm a fan of the Gottman Institute. And I'm reading the eight dates. And I've got some things that I wanted to highlight and talk about. So I'm going to read the book, doing the Chris version of the Peaches breakdown.
Okay.
But I have no notes.
Okay.
So we're going to fucking wing it.
Okay. I'm closing my eyes. So I'm paying attention. I'm just focusing on hearing. If you look up, that's what I'm doing. I'm not disengaging.
You better not be thinking dirty thoughts.
You fucker.
Seed planted. All right. So speaking on commitment.
No, I need a minute now. Yeah.
Hey, how was the meet and greet for you this weekend?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to cry. It was amazing. I'm going to start crying. God,
Go ahead, get it out.
I just stopped. It was absolutely fantastic. I loved meeting all of you. Familiar faces came. The wizards were there. Their child was there. We met Aloha Snack Bar. We got to meet just faces from the Discord. I don't want to put people's name on blast because Discord names, but it was dope. We played putt-putt. I got absolutely demolished. We took photos afterwards. We took really stupid photos afterwards.
We did take a whole lot of stupid photos. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I need to start thinking of poses for people now. That's going to be a tradition. I'm going to have to take like fucking pictures with people.
I actually made a blog on the tobebetter.co website with some of those photos so that the public can see them.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I got a plant that I've been searching for years.
Yeah.
From Polly Pocket.
And she had no idea that you were looking for it.
She had no idea.
Brought it for you.
Yeah. I sobbed. I saw it and cried. It has new growth. I'm so excited.
I enjoyed myself too. There was a whole lot of
camaraderie.
I know that I've said this before. The Arizona meet and greet, because of the fire pit conversation afterwards, had a lot of meaning to me. Mm-hmm. But every time we do one of these, it makes what we're doing real.
It does.
It takes it away from a screen, and like it makes the people who have sent the emails and who interact with us like actual people.
It gives the podcast breath.
Yeah. Yeah. It really does.
Yeah.
Real quick, somebody said, are we going to be doing emails? Yes, we're going to be doing emails. Yep. We're going to have a discussion first. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, maybe not. And if that's something that you guys don't want and you don't like the conversation pieces and you only want emails, I don't care. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm getting to a point where like we have stifled a lot of the creativity in what we do and like
suffocated ourselves.
I want to do what I want to do.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I was just going to say that those meet and greets are literally the CPR and defibrillator that keeps us going.
Yeah.
Like with my borderline, this is so fucking much. I'm overstimulated all the time. Even when we're not sitting down in front of a camera, I am overstimulated with the podcast.
Yeah.
It's so much.
It's 24/7. I don't think people realize it, but
yeah.
Somebody else also asked about Voice of the Broken, so I need to touch on that real quick because I saw it from Twitch. Savvy102823 said, so I know the Voice of the Broken is geared towards men, but do you think women could get something out of it too? I'm always looking to learn more how to help my husband with his struggles. Yes, 100% unequivocally, yes. You are going to get perspective that you otherwise would not have had. Ironically enough, out of the 3 episodes that we've posted, I would say that like 75 to 80% of the comments are from women saying, thank you for this. It's giving me new insight to my husband. So the Voice of the Broken is tagged on the top of the chat for you guys that would like to go and do that. You can subscribe to that over there. I would really appreciate that. So real quick, back to the meet and greet thing. I do agree with that. Anytime you get a group of people together, there's always that awkwardness. We don't have that. Like we get a 5-minute weird introduction because we don't know if we should shake hands, hug, or high five. That's going to always be a thing. I still get that with people that I love and care about when I haven't seen them for a while. I'm like, I don't know.
What do I do with my hands? Elbow it.
Right? Like I don't know.
Start doing jumping jacks together.
Right, something. So that'll always be a thing, but like we immediately did our little introductions and started cracking jokes and like convinced people that Danish was Zach and Jenny's child. And it was immediate fun.
Yeah.
And that was super cool for me. To be able to decompress and really just be a thing. You know what I mean? So, all right. So do you have anything else that you want to jump into before I look at this book again?
No.
Okay.
No. Are you reading?
I'm going to. Before I do that, though, we are going to be doing a meet and greet in Las Vegas in June.
I'm so fucking excited.
We rented a 5,000 square foot studio that's 70s retro.
It's 70s, guys.
It is gangster.
We're going to get baked in a 70s retro house. Yeah.
Well,
are you kidding? Outside.
You have to do that outside.
Is there a pool?
There is. There's also a walk down sit-in pit like in Austin Power movies. Like
how I want.
They actually have one in the house. It's pretty fucking dope.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But we rented the entire place for I think 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
So we can do some podcasts. We're going to be doing a podcast while we're there, not at the house, but while we're in Vegas, we have another podcast lined up. But I would like to record a little bit and then do the meet and greet there. And I think that's going to make it so that it's a more of a casual setting versus going to dinner.
Right. Oh yeah, I agree. I would prefer that over going to dinner.
Yeah.
The dinners are nice, but having to shout over 14 people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So for you guys who are in the Vegas area or within driving time, 3 to 4 hours, you can go to tobebetter.co. Click on events, and it can walk you through how to do the meet and greet in Vegas. It is limited to 25 slots. And I think that because we haven't really pushed it, it's still got quite a few.
It does.
So, all right. So what does true commitment mean? Reading from the book.
Okay.
The most obvious meaning is that we resist possibilities with other people. We're faithful.
I'm sorry. Read that one more time.
The most obvious meaning is that we resist possibilities with other people.
The most obvious meaning is that we resist opportunities with other people.
Yeah,
we resist opportunities.
Yeah, meaning the commitment between us is that we are resisting outside influences.
Okay.
Connections with other people.
Okay.
We're faithful sexually and faithful emotionally to our partner. We maintain boundaries in our relationship outside of the marriage. The late Dr. Shirley Glass, one of the world's leading experts on infidelity, wrote a book entitled Not Just Friends. Her expertise really boils down to windows and walls. From the window to the walls. Yeah.
To the walls.
When you're married or otherwise committed to a partner, ideally what you do is create a wall around the two of you with a window open between the two of you.
Read that one more time.
Okay. When you're married or otherwise committed to a partner, ideally, what you do is create a wall around the two of you with a window open between you. So think 2 cylinders built around us with a wall right in between that stays permanently open so that you and I have direct connection to each other.
Okay, but we have our own spaces.
Yep.
Okay.
Right? That's how I envisioned that when I read it.
Right. I like that. I like having my things.
This wall around the two of you separates you from others in terms of your deepest emotional and physical connections. And what Dr. Glass in her research found in her research is that when people, especially people who are unhappy in their relationships, start confiding in another person about their relationship, they're opening up a window to this outside person, right? So that's where the emotional infidelity starts.
They're opening it while simultaneously closing the one to their partner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And when they keep this new platonic or emotional relationship secret from their partner, they start building a wall between themselves and their primary partner, right? Okay. So that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
We were connecting dots before we even got there. Mm-hmm. There can't be walls between you two if you are going to have long-term and lasting trust, commitment, and loyalty. And windows to a close friend, whether of the opposite sex or the same sex, which I think is fucking important, outside of your relationship. It can quickly become doorways, and that's when affairs happen. It's not impossible to have friends like this, but you have to beware of the boundaries, and it's huge red flag if one of you starts keeping secrets from your partner about any new friendship. Then you are building a wall between you that disrupts your commitment to one another. I have one more paragraph, but I want to stop and talk about that for a little bit.
Okay.
We've made it very clear throughout the course of the podcast that and just for an example, because this has been the example, is that if you get a new work friend and you have an argument with your wife or your husband and you go to work and you're in a bad mood and that new person goes, hey, what's wrong? And they weasel their way in and you start divulging the secrets of your marriage and your household and the shortcomings of your partner. If they have an interest in any way, shape, or form, that opens the door for them to get their foot there. So that door can't be closed anymore because now they're emotionally invested in what's happening, right? This is no different than giving gossip.
Right.
But now if they have an ulterior motive and it's not just about your well-being, they have a way to create a negativity bias towards your partner. Oh, I can't believe she would do that. I would make breakfast for my man every day, right? Or, I can't believe she won't let you play video games, bro. Like,
she gives you a hard time about eating pizza.
I would play video games with my man.
Yeah,
that kind of shit, right? What do you mean she thinks that you'll get sexy and leave her if you go to the gym? You're already sexy. Going to the gym is just gonna make you sexier, right? Yeah. Like, very real thing for a lot of fucking people. Now, when you add in how alone and disconnected most people are in their marriages, that's all it takes. That one interaction is all it takes. That seed is planted. 2-3 weeks from now, that seed is starting to
sprout.
Got a little guy going there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much beyond that, especially when that attention is the water that it needs for that plant to continue growing. And you're around that person more than you're around your partner. And if you have kids, you're around that person without kids more than you're around your partner and your kids, right? Because you factor in a 40 to 50 hour work week. When you go home, you got 3 to 4 hours a night with your person. 2 to 3 hours of that is with their kids, and then you sleep. You're spending more time with the people you work with than you do your family.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I was so thankful for you offering or asking me, do you want to be a stay-at-home mom?
Then why did it take you so long to say yes?
Because it was new and it was scary, and I had to... Okay, if this doesn't make sense, I need you to tell me it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
The relationship that we have...
Thank you, Danish. I was just about to type and ask if you got supers.
The kind of relationship that we have, I've never had before. And it was never modeled for me. The kind of relationship that we have, I would look down on and talk shit about the woman. She's weak. I was that person who's talking shit to me right now. And I had to work through those aspects. I had to... How can I say this? Because I don't want to blame my borderline. It's not my borderline, but my borderline is an aspect of it. I had to work through the ingrained toxicity within me, and I pretty much worked through arguments in my mind before they even became a thing, because I would have started arguments, because I believed, as a woman, back then, part of my value came from what I can bring financially to the table. And in giving that up, it gives you a power over me. And I had to work through that in my mind to be happy in this, because I wanted to be happy in this, in the stay-at-home mom.
Right.
I mean,
so finances is something that we're going to cover, but you're basically saying that you had to give yourself permission to be a woman.
Pretty much.
Live the life that you want to live.
Yeah, I had to give myself, but that was a really good way to put that. Correct, for 500.
That conversation was 2 weeks.
It was.
It was 3 different conversations over 2 weeks. And one of them was not a short conversation. It was like a 2-hour bath.
Yeah, you sat in the bath with me.
It's crazy. Especially because you've told me in the past that this is what you've always wanted. You just didn't think that it would ever be a thing.
Yeah. And then it became an option, and I didn't think that I was worthy of it. It's a lot. I'm a lot.
Well, you're a woman.
Yeah.
With borderline.
Right.
So you are a lot.
Oh my gosh, I'm like a regular woman on speed.
Like driving a car downhill in the ice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to this then.
Okay.
There is no question that committing to a person can be a terrifying prospect. Pretty valid for what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
It means putting all of our eggs in one basket. There will be no one waiting in the wings if this relationship doesn't work out.
Terrifying.
Is it?
Knee-jerk reaction, yes, absolutely terrifying. My abandonment kicks in. Yeah.
But in having that, if you have something waiting in the wings in case this relationship fails, you're not actually committed to your relationship.
Oh, damn. I was thinking of like supportive people in my life, not romantic interests. Is that what you meant?
That's
okay. Or is that what the context is?
Read it again.
Okay, read it again.
There is no question that committing to a person can be a terrifying prospect. It means putting all of our eggs in one basket. There will be no one waiting in the wings if this relationship doesn't work out.
Yeah, backup plan. Okay.
Having a plan B distracts from plan A.
Yeah.
I believe that having a plan B allows you to fail.
Oh, it does, 100%.
Having multiple contingencies is a safety net, right? And there are a lot of things where that takes place. But if you're focusing on B and C, A doesn't get all of your attention. You are going to fail your first plan. So this is why I'm a jump in head first. Sun Tzu in The Art of War said that if you have 40% of a plan, that's enough to go to war. Because while somebody else is trying to get to 60, 80, or 100% of a plan, you're already in an attacking state and they're now on the defensive. So you get enough of what you need to go and start fucking going. There isn't a safety net. If things aren't going well, we go to no one else to complain. Instead, we need to go directly to our partner to work things out. Also, if we're committed, we have given this person everything that we have to offer. There's no distraction from plan A because plan B doesn't fucking exist.
I need a second. I'm getting emotional.
Okay. It's not a podcast till you cry.
I've already cried. This is just, the sprinklers are on pause right now.
Okay.
It's hard.
What is?
Not emotionally leeching off of other people. It's hard. That is something that I've had to train myself not to do. With my borderline, I used to jump from I would text 15, 20 people at once because they were all feeding me emotionally. They were giving me some sort of attention.
Right.
And I would do that for hours. If I wasn't working and I didn't have the kids and I was still a single mom, I would sit on my couch for 5 or 6 hours having 20 different conversations at the same time. And when somebody caught on to my emotional leeching, right? Because all I would do is complain about my life.
Right.
Complain about the person I was with.
That's absolutely emotional vampirism.
Right. And I would complain about the person I was with. And I would want men to tell me, oh, well, I would do that for you. Damn right you would. You're not going to get to because I'm with somebody, but just knowing that you would.
Right. Because I'm worth it.
Right. It validated me. And that was something that I really, really had to work on. That's why I'm not on my phone anymore. It's not that there is a temptation to reach out to other people. It's more of I'm disgusted with who I once was.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm connecting a lot of dots within myself right now. I don't have a lot of connections because I'm disgusted of who I used to be as a person.
Well, I mean, that's something that you can easily change.
Right, but I'm absolutely terrified of falling back into those habits and being an emotional vampire without realizing it.
Do you think that you would fall back into that because you don't like who you used to be?
Logically, no, I don't think I would fall back into that. This is a continuation of our conversation the other day. Do you remember that conversation about your mom?
Yes.
This is a continuation of that. Logically, no, I don't think that I would fall back into that. But there is a worry. I also recognize today that I am scared to feel my feelings or share my feelings sometimes because of how many times I've been accused of being manipulative with them. And when I'm hurting or I'm in deep pain and I need someone to sympathize with me and they just hit me with, "You're fucking lying," that's a hard hurdle to jump over and wanting to be open to people.
You do realize, though, that if you don't ever put the effort in, it'll never happen.
Right, I know.
And it's better to have those relationships and have them fail than never have them.
Right, it's just getting over all of that.
Right, I get that.
And I don't remember where I was going with all of that at all. It's hard to not be an emotional vampire. That's the point. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. And with me I used to be that person, right, where I would be in a relationship and I would still seek validation from men. That's not even a cross in my mind anymore because I go to you about everything. Even when it's fucking hard.
Gonna do it again?
In my mind, I'm going like, to suck them back in.
In your eyes? With your eyes?
Yeah, like. I was not a happy person when I was that person.
Yeah.
I was so miserable.
And you were feeding that.
And I was feeding it because it worked. It wasn't working well.
It didn't work, though, but that's what you knew at the time.
I mean, it was, you know, when you need stitches and you're like, just get a Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. That's what I was doing. It worked a little bit. Yeah. And in my mind, it was working, but it wasn't. And with it being hard, because you just, this is not verbatim, but you just read something along the lines of, when you stop going to your person to solve problems, or you need to turn to your person internally and work on the problems.
If we are committed, we have given this person everything we have to offer. There is nothing left to offer another lover.
It was before that.
The risky decision. If things aren't going well, we need to go to no one else to complain. Instead, we need to go directly to our partner to work things out.
That's hard. That's fucking hard. Because in doing so, you're going to hold a mirror up to me. And people don't want to face that. I don't want to fucking face that. That shit sucks.
Jordan B. Peterson said that if you have to change, that's good for me. Because change is really fucking hard.
Right.
So if you're the one that's wrong and you're the one who has to change, that's great for me, which is why people argue to be right instead of arguing to fix the problem.
Yeah.
So.
And I've really gotten into the mindset of, if I am the problem, that's dope, because all I can do is change my actions and control me.
Which is a huge life lesson.
It is.
Like, that's life-changing information if you believe it.
Right. You being the way that you are and loving me the way that you do has eliminated a lot in me. When I was that person who would go outside of my relationship and talk to others about the problems in my relationship, it was because there was a lot, but part of it was because there was an insecurity of me within my relationship. They weren't watering me. I was going to say feeding me, but
same thing.
Yeah. You do that. And in doing so, has eliminated a lot of insecurity in me and has made me realize that I am worthy of love. And a big part of me coming to you with things, even when it's really, really hard for me to do so, is because even when I'm emotional and I'm going through it, and I believe the world is against me and you secretly hate me and all of these other really shitty things, it is so ingrained in me that subconsciously I know that you're going to be there and I know that you're going to love me. Your safety is so deeply rooted in me that even when I'm going through it, I know that I can come to you even when I'm scared. And that's a big key of it. Being that person who can be, I hate that I'm saying so much. I'm so emotional right now. Fuck me. Being the person who can receive that and meet whatever the issue is head on and have the conversations on how to fix it is a big deal.
You know that if you were to bottle that up, okay, let's say that I took everything really bad.
Okay.
Right? I don't. I do at times. There are times where I react instead of respond. I'm a fucking human being. I'm not perfect.
Right.
And I know that, but I am working on that, right? So assuming that I just am horrible every time you bring something to me. Even if I'm horrible in the moment and then we work through the process and we come to resolution.
I would rather do that.
We're still coming to resolution.
Right.
Right? And that's how growth happens. And that's how I'm able to fix things, right?
And that's how I'm able to fix things.
So not knowing what you're going through, if you're suppressing and you're pushing it down, or I am doing that because I'm the fucking king at suppressing my shit, how are you ever going to be there for me if that's what I'm doing? How am I going to be able to fix the problem or even begin to understand what is happening with you if we can't have a discussion about it? So it's not a matter of an emotional safety thing. I guess maybe because you said it must be that's what it is. But I think that there's an understanding there that the relationship matters more than what we're going through right now. In order for the relationship to thrive, we have to be transparent with each other.
I am really expanding on the human experience, like for me, and there is not a single emotion tied to any memory that I have. There's always at least 3 or 4. And in thinking that way, that emotions are complex and can be intertwined and you can experience happiness and anger in the same exact instance. I'm recognizing that within my psyche, there's building blocks. I mean, of course there's fucking building blocks, right? Everything. Your relationship is a building block. We've preached it for almost 2 years.
God. It has been almost 2 years.
Right? So it is the emotional safety and it is the recognition that you are a logical person and that I try to be a logical person. And we both recognize that the relationship is what is important. It's not me and it's not you, it's us.
Right.
And we have to be okay. And there's also the building block of your understanding. Like, fuck. I wish I could just do that and you understand.
Yeah, the telepathy's not there yet. If I had Matt Parkman's abilities in Hero, I would get it.
Right. I deeply appreciate the lengths that you go to understand my complex emotions. Outside of the fact that we are 2 different living human beings, you're a fucking man. There are times where I can't comprehend what you're going through because I just don't understand the life of a man. I don't know the pressures that you're under, and I've never experienced the expectations of a man. I've never experienced the bullying of a man. I've never experienced the put down of a man. So I can sit here and be empathetic with you, but I can't truly understand the turmoil or the other emotions that could be going on. You just tell them to me and I have to try to imagine it.
Right.
and my feelings get fucking silly. Like absolutely ridiculous. I have cried over my food being messed up and I can't touch it for 45 minutes. That's also a big component in the building blocks in my subconscious when I'm really fucking going through it and I'm emotional and I'm not present and I'm on autopilot or whatever is going on with me.
How hard is it for you not to revert back to that when we're going through disruptions?
What do you mean to revert back to what?
To all of that behavior, everything
really
that you've
hard.
worked through, because that's safety, right? That's what you've always done.
Right.
And you know that you'll get through it. If you do what you've always done, you'll get through it because you've survived this far.
It's hard. You know, in movies and shows when there's a storefront and somebody's looking through the glass and somebody is looking back through them and it turns out there's not actually glass there and they can just touch the person. That is it.
Yeah.
I could literally just reach out, touch who I used to be and revert back to that in a fucking instance. I have had breakdowns in front of you. That breakdown is millimeters away from me every time a disruption happens. And I feel like I have like a fucking flamethrower in my hands because if I destroy that, I'm killing off a part of me and I am where I am because I I go back into the archives, right? And I pull out the old newspapers and I look at that and I'm able to connect new dots and discover new things about me and elaborate on my experience and then communicate that to you on why I'm going through the things that I'm going through. So I can't destroy that aspect of me and just shut it down and never look at it again.
Right.
I'm diverging from your question. The answer is it's really fucking difficult to not revert back.
But that shows your growth, right?
Yeah.
Because it would be very easy for me to be the person that I was my entire life. Everybody reverts back to that to some degree. Mm-hmm. If you say something to me and I feel challenged and I get defensive, that is me reverting back to that instant automatic behavior.
Because it's safe.
Because it is automatic behavior.
Yeah.
If you're driving somewhere and everyone has driven somewhere and been like, how the fuck did I get here?
That happened to me today.
I just pulled into the work parking lot. What happened in the last 15 minutes of fucking driving? How am I not dead?
There are times where I have driven and I'm like, when did I merge lanes?
Right.
Did I use my turn signal? Did I check my blind spot?
That is that automatic behavior.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing what you've always done to get where you've always gone.
Yeah.
So in the moment, having to dial that back and establish new habits, it's something that we're actually talking about in one of the Discord chats right now.
Yeah.
How to break those habits and reestablish new patterns of behavior. And there's things that you can do like rephrasing something when you negative self-talk. And I actually think Albert's in the chat, but I told him that you can even snap yourself with a rubber band.
Yeah.
Like if you say something stupid about yourself, rubber band on the inside of the wrist, because that pain equates to don't do that. It's no different than burning yourself. You know not to touch the fucking stove again because it hurt. So there's things that go with that. I want to get back to this though, because
I've talked a lot.
Side railed.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to just pick back up and finish this off because this is the last paragraph on this page. If things aren't going well, we got no one else to go to complain. Instead, we need to go directly to our partner to work things out. Also, if we are committed, we have to give this person everything we have to offer. There's nothing left over for another lover. That's a risky decision, but it's essential. Without this level of commitment, love will not last.
Okay.
I'm
going to just real quick interject.
Have at it, because I have to find the other bookmark.
So that giving everything to your partner. I'm trying to figure out how I want to phrase this. So something that I've recognized within myself, because I used to be that person who would seek outside attention from my relationship. And that is something absolutely unacceptable for my own standards of me. And me being with my husband now, because it's either, yes, please. I would like one of those. To clarify, my husband has never done anything for me to feel like I can't come and talk to him or feel like he is going to rage on me or get angry or any other negative thing somebody can see through their cognitive lens. Due to past experience, and me saying the things that I said prior about like my feelings being viewed as manipulation, I had really began to pick and choose the things that I brought to you. And because I shut off that other avenue of talking to people, and there's another avenue of I feel I don't really have close friends anymore because of the platform that we have. And I'm scared to get personal with people in my life because it can be weaponized on the internet.
Yep.
I started repressing my feelings. And in doing so, I also shut down that avenue of commitment. I'm connecting that dot right now because you just fucking read that. So repressing or suppressing feelings will also fuck it up. And I just spit a tear across the screen. It hit my lip and bounced.
Get it. So we're going to butterfly effect shift into a different topic of the same type.
Okay.
This is going to move into initiating sex because this is a very prevalent thing with the podcast. I was going to end up trying to do this as an individual episode where we broke down specific subjects from this book that triggered like big thoughts in my brain. Obviously, because that's where thoughts get triggered in your brain. Well, you guys listen to my genius ass. That's insane. All right. Men think about sex more than women. Do you agree with that?
In general?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. 54% of men compared to 19% of women think about sex every day or several times a day. In our research of couples' sex lives, we found that ideally men want sex 4 to 5 times a week and women 1 to 2 times. Men have more explicit sexual fantasies and women have more romantic fantasies.
That's wild.
Adolescence, I'm going to skip that. I was going to read that, but I think that for the sake of the live stream and us being monetized, I need to skip that one. Men in general like to have sex to feel emotionally connected, and women need to feel emotionally connected to have sex. We've talked about that a fucking lot.
We have, yeah.
Okay. Almost 90% of the couples we interviewed agreed with that last sentence. We refer to this as women having more prerequisites for sex than men do.
Is it prerequisite?
Prerequisites. Yeah. What did I say? Prerequisites?
Yeah.
Yeah. 7th grade education, guys.
Oh, I
didn't take that as an offense.
Okay. I didn't want it to
no.
be like
Women's prerequisites aren't always limited to emotional closeness. Sometimes they are about feeling exhausted, distracted, not rested, or not good about herself or her body. Before I move on, you throw in postpartum depression and what happens to a woman's body after a baby's born, and that's fucking skyrocketed.
Oh God, yeah.
Times it, squared by 10.
I felt like an alien.
Yeah.
After I gave birth. Yeah.
Interestingly, the data shows that gay men have the most sex of any type of couple. 2 people with the fewest prerequisites, and lesbians have the least amount of sex of any type of couple. 2 people with the most prerequisites. Sexual desire for women is a barometer for how the rest of her world is going. If she's not rested, not happy or healthy or feeling supported and loved, she's not going to feel like having sex.
Does that mean that lesbians aren't happy?
Damn. Damn. Okay, I didn't. So those dots didn't connect for me at all. Like not even a little bit.
Okay.
I went to men, if you want to make sure you have sexy time with your woman, make sure she has self-care.
Right.
And that you're feeding her needs and home to make sure that she has all of those boxes checked.
Right.
And then you're not going to hear I have a headache.
Yeah.
I added some sexy questions to the check-in list today and sent it to Zach. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on because now I'm.
Now I'm hung up on that.
You just train wrecked my entire thought of I wasn't ready for that.
Sorry. I didn't mean to wreck your train.
I think that it's not necessarily a lesbian thing. I think it's a woman thing because you do have prerequisites. Men don't, according to this book.
According to that book, right.
Okay.
Well, according to that book, never mind. That's not the point of the... I'm hung up on it. My tism's spasming. Just keep going.
So the next thing says saying yes. Despite women having more prerequisites for sex, women agree to have sex at the same rate that men do. Okay. This I thought was bullshit. I was like, there's no fucking way, because I heard that and I'm like, no.
Right.
No, they don't. That's not possible with how often men are fucking shot down. And we have to know is no. Body autonomy. Like, I don't even get to try once that no has been laid down.
Right.
Psychologists Sandra Byers and Larry Heinlein had men and women keep records of their sex lives and found that both men and women say yes to sex about 75% of the time. Men and women, 75% of the time. So regardless of who is initiating, and in their study, men initiated sex more often than women, the positive response percentage is the same. It then goes on to say, isn't that insane because of the way that we fear rejection? The amount of people who want to initiate, they're like, oh, she's probably just going to be tired, or he's had a long day, it's probably not going to happen. People will not initiate because they fear the rejection aspect of it.
And some people only need to be rejected once.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, hang on. I need to process all of that. Because women do shut down men, right? Mm-hmm. It does happen.
Well, apparently so do men. Men shut down women's as well.
Right. So...
But on average, 75% say yes.
So new train of thought. Are men... Okay, I'm about to be an asshole.
Okay.
Are men kind of just being sensitive about the rejection in the moment? Because if women are agreeing on par with men, but men are saying that women are rejecting them more, do you think that they're getting rejected 2 or 3 times and just never trying again?
Maybe
not every instance, of course.
Maybe that's going to lead us into a whole different conversation. Mm-hmm. I do believe that the initiation, if the refusal happens consecutively, it's going to be cemented as a new normal.
Okay, I agree with the consecutively.
Right.
That makes sense.
So if I try 4 or 5 times over the course of a month, and that's the only time it's ever initiated, is if I'm initiating and it doesn't happen, at that point I know you're just not interested. And me having needs met, me having needs that I feel need to be met, well, I mean, you and I would have a very big discussion about this, but the average person would start looking for other ways to fulfill that need. Average person, not man, the average person. Okay. So moving back to this, accepting the no. If your partner doesn't want to have sex, the most important thing is to not take it personally.
Ooh, that's hard.
Right?
That's fucking hard.
In happy couples, there is no anger or defensiveness if one partner isn't in the mood. According to our research, each of you isn't going to be in the mood 25% of the time that your partner is. Finding a way to handle the no is critical to the success of your relationship. So for everybody that's in a sexless marriage that thinks that sex is not important to a fucking marriage,
it is.
It is. We've been spouting that for almost 2 years.
Right.
I get to say almost 2 years now because you started it.
Before you keep going, babe, if I ever reject you 25% of the time, check me into a mental hospital.
Yeah. Okay, so it then says, find ways to be affectionate and be together even if sex is taken off the table, right? So in a scenario where I had a very easy day, super energetic, and you had a very stressful day, touched out, and it's 7:30 and you're ready for bed and it feels like 3 PM for me and I'm fucking go time, we can lay in bed and I can watch TV and you can lay on me. Right? We can find other ways to have that closeness without the sexy time. And that is an intimate thing because your batteries are drained and mine are not. I'm not ready for bed. Mm-hmm. I'll go lay down with you. Just know I'm gonna be up till 3 o'clock in the morning. And if I get up 5 or 6 times to go get snacks and
bring me back one, please.
It's gonna happen from time to time. I don't sleep like you do, right? So like,
no, I'm being serious. If you ever get up at night and get a snack, please wake me up.
I'm not gonna make a "you are my midnight snack" joke. Find ways to be affectionate and be together, even if sex has been taken off the table. Those couples who have mastered acceptance of the no actually end up having sex more than couples where one partner gets upset when the other isn't in the mood. Do you know why that is?
I'm Peach.
I'm aware.
I have no idea what you just said to me. You just kept going. You hit me with that and just kept going. I heard the last part of it. The no what?
Those couples who have mastered acceptance of the no actually end up having more sex than couples where one partner gets upset when the other one isn't in the mood.
Okay.
Do you know why that is?
Because there's understanding and there's grace and they actually like each other still. And this is just a one-time thing where I'm not in the mood and they know that they're not going to take it personally.
It makes sex not a chore.
That was such an easy way to say all that what I just said.
It was.
It makes sex not a chore. Yeah.
A great way to respond to no is realizing that no does not have to end connection. Then one can say, thanks for telling me you're not in the mood. What are you in the mood for? Probing questions. Do you feel like taking a walk, watching TV, cuddling, or just talking? Or would you like time alone? It's important to not punish one's partner for saying no. Don't sulk or whine. It's especially hard for men to hear no because research shows that being wanted sexually is essential to a man's sense of his masculinity. There's even been a study showing that men would prefer to get fired from their job rather than have their partner not want to have sex.
Do you feel that way?
I had pulled my fucking van over.
Really?
Pulled my van over. And I'm like, fuck you. Right?
I feel attacked right now, right?
It took it down from 2.3 speed to 1.
Wow.
And played it again. And then played it again.
Yeah.
And then paused it.
Okay.
And came and I was like, babe, I need highlighters. Right?
Oh, that's why I needed the highlighters. Okay.
That, in terms of like what a relationship is, right? My job is to protect, provide, and lead. Mm-hmm. And the way that I feel I'm doing a good job is when you bless me with some cookie. Because I like my dessert, right? And if you started removing that from me, and I'm feeling like all I'm doing is existing and giving you a life, and there's no intimacy there, and I don't get dessert anymore.
I would also imagine that makes you feel like you're fucking up.
Why would I want to do this anymore?
Right.
So knowing that there are men out there who would rather get fired from their job than hear their wife say no explains a whole lot of poutiness and a whole lot of disconnect. I never correlated the two of those things.
Right.
I know that if I was being rejected by you over and over and over again, I would feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a man. So when it tied into the masculinity fucking statement, I get that too.
Mm-hmm. That also makes a lot of sense to me.
Right?
Do you feel just checking? Can I check in with you over here? Do you still feel desired by me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. We almost had sexy time before the podcast.
Okay.
I'm not worried about that. Okay. That's not a thing for me.
I just want to make sure.
Insane. If there is a lack of physical affection, flirting, and intimate connection apart from sex, your sex life will suffer. It's okay to grab the hips and pull them to you while they're cooking. Smack their ass when you're walking by the kitchen. They're watching TV, distract them with your finger under the chin and give them a big old fucking 6-second kiss. Like, there's a lot to that. Mm-hmm. When that goes away and you guys are just passing through the house and you're living as roommates and the intimacy is gone, sex is going to suffer. There's a whole lot more to the playtime than the playtime. You would think that that's just normal information that people get that because they fucking get it in the beginning, but they get complacent, right? Okay. If there's an emotional distance or intense conflict, like we discussed in the previous chapter, your sex life will suffer. If there's a lack of physical or emotional safety, we've talked about that for 2 years, almost 2 years, or if one of you doesn't feel appreciated, it can affect both the quality and quantity of your sex life. Checking in on your partner's interior would help your sex life flourish. Checking in on your partner's interior. A check-in. How's your mental health? Are you touched out? How are the kids? How could I be a better husband? What did I do to serve you best this week? Right? Mm-hmm. That was a really good thing for me. Is there anything you want to discuss about that one before I butterfly effect warp us to something else?
No, kind of. This might be a branch off of that conversation. Okay. I think it will be. The other night you brushed my hair for me and you put my hair up.
I fucking tried to braid your hair. Oh my God. Am I not? I can't do that anymore. I get I was a dad to a little girl, 15, 23 years ago. Mm-hmm. You would think that that's like riding a bike. How hard is it to fucking braid hair?
You're going to have to try it a few more times.
I blame your layering.
It's yes. The breakage. It's a lot.
I'm going to just say that it's not me.
No.
How hard can it be to braid hair? It's definitely not a me thing.
I have full faith in your capabilities. Yeah, it's my
I did put it in a bun though.
You did.
I can do that no problem.
I love the way you put my hair in a bun.
Yeah.
And side rail from this conversation, I'll come back to it. I was in the car the other day and I went to go like tighten up my bun to pull it up. And I went to go take it out and I was like, oh no, but like he did this one. And then I was like, oh my God, what if he dies and he's like the last one who does your hair. You'll never be able to take it out again. Like I'm just going to live with matted fucking hair on my head because I won't be able to undo the ponytail that you did for me. Why do I do this to myself? But back to the main conversation. So you did my hair for me. And I recognized it was like a really deeply emotionally connecting thing for me. Even if it's not for you, it was for me. Because I do a lot during the day. And I take care of the kids. Oh, I take care of the kids a lot. They're a lot. So you brushing my hair for me helped me feel to take care, like I was taken care of. And I think that would be a really dope thing we could start doing like every night. If you're okay with every single night.
I don't care. We're not doing shit but watching TV.
Okay.
Anyways. You're going to be one of those women who don't wash my pillowcase ever, huh?
Oh God, no! I'm not going to get rid of your clothes.
There's an episode of House where Wilson lost Amber, and he had her coffee mug sitting on the sink, and he refused to wash it because it was the last time they had coffee together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to be that woman. I'm going to have your bike, your boots, probably like memorialized or something.
Okay. This is going to transition into the finance conversation that I said we were going to get into earlier. And this is a shorter one.
Okay.
It's literally a page. Research on a sample of 4,574 couples showed that of all the issues married couples fight about, financial arguments were the single best predictor of divorce.
Okay, read that one more time.
Of 4,574 couples shows that of all the issues married couples fight about, financial arguments were the single best predictor of divorce.
Almost 5,000 relationships.
Yep.
That's insane.
The other 4 issues that couples get into conflict over the most is sex, in-laws, alcohol or drug use, and parenting. Okay. Tell me that is not every fucking email we receive on the podcast.
One more time. It was financial, alcoholism.
Financial is number 1. Okay. Sex is number 2.
Sex is number 2.
In-laws. Alcohol or drug use, and parenting.
I'm surprised that parenting's not the last on that list. I'm going to be honest.
I'm willing to bet that number 6 is politics or religion. Politics and religion.
That, yeah. That is literally every email we receive. Has almost every single one of those sprinkled in it.
Yep. Okay. It then goes on to say that unless you have an unlimited trust fund, work can't be separated from the conversation about money. Many of the couples who went on these 8 dates worked long hours at their jobs and spent long hours at school. Time and money and work were issues that permeated many of the conversations, especially the dates around commitment, family, play, fun, and dreams.
Okay, I need you to pause. Back up 2 sentences and read it again.
Time and money and work were issues that permeated many of the conversations, especially the dates around commitment, family, play, fun, and dreams.
Okay, I'm hung up on permeated, so I'm not hearing the rest of your sentence. So permeated means to, like it's bleeding into? Mm-hmm. Okay, so those topics were bleeding into the dates?
Finances bled into all of those other ones.
The issue of finances.
Finances, long work hours, not enough time, too much study. Those 5 topics bled into everything else.
What do you mean bled into everything else? Like during their dates?
Yeah. Specifically conversations about commitment, family, play, fun, and dreams.
Okay, so they were all tainted.
By those things.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
For most couples, the arguments around money tend to fall into 3 distinct categories. Different perceptions of the financial and inequality. Okay, so that's...
Inequality like...
That's the man making more money than the woman or the woman making more money than the man.
Okay.
Or one spending more than the other. One having a big bank account and the other not. That's an inequality, right? Could be the way it's spent. Could be the way that it's distributed or how it's made.
Okay.
Different perceptions of what it means to have financial well-being.
Okay.
Meaning I could believe that we're broke and you could believe that we're financially successful.
Right. You could think $5,000 in saving is good enough and I want to have $20,000.
Right. Okay. So we're on the same page there. And different perceptions about the nature of how they argue about money. That last one is rough.
Read that one more time.
different perceptions about the nature of how they argue about money.
The different perceptions of the nature of how they argue.
Right.
So one could be like, we're not having an argument. And the other one is like, we're fucking arguing right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And it's true for both of them.
Right.
That is a true statement to both. We're not arguing. Yes, the fuck we are.
Right.
Okay. Two things can be true at the same time.
Okay. Hey, what's the name of this book?
The 8 Dates. I bought a physical copy so you could read it.
The 8 Dates, guys. Everyone's asking.
Oh, okay. Of all of the three, the nature of the arguments was the best predictor of whether a couple would break up. Why do you think that is?
One more time. The what?
Of the three,
the
nature of the arguments was the best predictor of whether a couple would break up.
The nature of the argument, so that the way they're talking to each other. I mean, of course, if you're
communication.
Yeah, if you're willing to be disrespectful to me when we're heated and you're going to call me names,
right?
There's no respect.
The delivery matters.
Yeah.
Being able to have an open, honest, communicative dialogue, right? I'm not talking at you.
Right.
We're trying to resolve our savings account.
Okay. So I want to touch on the nature and elaborate on that a little bit more.
This comes to perception.
It does come to perception. Okay. So they said when the nature of the arguments was the best indicator for the divorce. So what does that scale look like? Like at what point they're like, oh yeah, they're getting divorced? Like what nature, like category 5, or are we like cat 2 and now we're starting to worry that they're going to divorce?
They actually don't get into that.
Okay.
It's just the best predictor. They then went on, let's finish this. It's got 2 sentences and then we'll talk about that.
Okay.
What this means is that conflicts over finances don't need to be a make or break issue. What matters most is how a couple talks about their financial disagreements.
Okay.
So if you have somebody that is financially abusive or financially manipulative, or one feels they have to ask for money. Okay, let's do that because that's prevalent. Oh my God, is that fucking prevalent?
Okay.
The amount of people who think that you saying, hey babe, I see there's $800 in the bank, I want to spend $500, is you asking me for money instead of realizing that you're making sure that that money is not spent yet.
Right. Is it available?
Right. Because maybe I made a fucking $10,000 credit card payment. There's no money left and it just hasn't cleared. So even though it looks like there's a bunch of money in the bank, there's no fucking money in the bank. That is us communicating what our financial status is. It's not asking for money because if there's money that's available to be spent, I don't fucking give a shit if you spend it.
Right.
But we have to know where the money is going. Yeah. So where it's allocated matters.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of that real quick. Do you know where you're gonna go?
Yeah.
Okay. I actually don't even do that. I don't look at the bank accounts when I say, can I spend this? Because the numerical value in the bank account means nothing to me when I want to spend $200 out of it. Right? So the bottom line of the question is this money available? I don't even look at the bank account anymore.
Right.
So when I text you, hey babe, can I spend $300? That's I'm waiting for the green light to hit send. I already have the shit in the cart. My thumb is hovering over checkout. This is you're good to spend it, or give me a week. That's for rent.
Okay.
That's what that is.
But if you, which is good to clarify.
Yeah.
If you viewed that as having to ask me for permission to spend money, and I view that as us having a discussion on whether or not that money is allocated.
Okay.
No matter how many times you've told me you feel like you have to ask, and no matter how many times I've told you that if the money is available, fucking spend it. Because I've taken care of the Roth and I've taken care of the mortgage payment this month. This is play money. Well, I shouldn't have to ask you. Right? If we can't get past that, and your truth is that you have to ask, and my truth is that I fucking told you the money's there. Do whatever you want with it. It's two very different arguments. We are not seeing the same page of things. And unless we can get that conversation onto an even keel where we both understand each other, that is going to breed resentment over the finances with us. And we are never going to be able to move forward that. They call this a, they have a term for this. It's an impasse where you guys come, gridlock. The Gottmans refer to that as gridlock.
Okay.
If you come, gridlock to them means that if you come to an argument that is a constant argument that neither one of you will ever get resolution to because you see things differently, you're at a gridlock. They said that in another book that I've read by them, they said that happens at about 65 to 70% of real life arguments is gridlock arguments.
65 to what?
To 70.
65 to 70%. That's a lot.
It is, because those are the
Gridlock
ones
arguments?
that constantly get brought back up.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if we have a disagreement and we come to resolution and we
Right.
both understand, it's resolved.
Yeah.
So if we have an argument about something 4 times over the course of 2 years, that's a gridlock thing because it's not been resolved. And that is what most people come back to with their arguments. You find yourself having a conversation with somebody and you're constantly bringing up that one, for instance, without getting into names. We have somebody in our lives who has had the same fight for 5 years with their person.
Yeah.
It's not gotten any better.
That's gridlock.
That's gridlock.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that either one of them are going to be able to do to resolve that unless one of them completely succeeds to the other person's wants and desires and just submits.
Would you say it's wants or desires, or would it be the perspective? Because I would view that as a perspective shift.
I don't even know if that's something specifically that could be overcome.
Yeah. Oh, I don't. That is situation specific. No, I don't think that horse is dead. In my opinion. But in other situations where it's not.
Well, you would have to find a way to explain to your person in a way that's going to make them empathetic to your cause, right? Because if we disagree on something, which happens,
It does.
if I could, and we actually did, I swear to God, we just did this in the hang up conversation that's not been released yet. But I flat out told you in that video, I was really fucking hoping that I could get you to come to this side of the fence so that I could win this argument. And you're like, I knew you were.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I wanted you to understand my perspective on it to see if we would align, because you don't think that somebody hanging up should not be given an opportunity to correct their behavior. And I'm like, you can fucking beat feet right on out of my life at that point.
Right. Well,
So-
I want to clarify it. It's
Don't ruin it.
Oh, okay.
Because we have a whole episode about that.
Okay, I'm not going to clarify it. Get fucked, guys. Ponder on that.
But while we were having that discussion, my entire intent of that discussion was try to understand your emotional connection to what was happening in the moment. And then trying to have you understand my emotional connection to what was happening so that we can either agree or disagree. And there's not a right or wrong there. Your truth and my truth there are both our truths.
Yeah.
It works. So where you have a little bit more compassion and empathy, I have too many scars on my back for that to be a thing. Right? So like our reality dictates our behavior. I can be empathetic and understanding and be like, damn, my woman's got a good fucking heart. And you can be like, damn, my husband's been stabbed in the back a lot. Like,
Well, I also think that I was built for that.
right.
Like
I agree.
In the dynamic of who we are and what we do, you're built for things that I'm not. I read an email I wasn't supposed to read because it was in the wrong folder.
Oh, I know.
From an EMT, and it fucked me up. Like, it's still fucking me. It's been almost a year.
How hard of a time do you think you're going to have doing these Voice of the Broken Garden segments? Because we're getting emails in. I'm seeing 3 or 4 of them a day.
I know, and I've read some of them. I haven't read them, but I've scanned over them and just to see the topics of discussion. I'm trying to find ways to not let it affect me that way. It's going to affect me. I don't know if I need to have, even if it's a fucking placebo effect that I put on myself, like a meditation cleansing afterwards for 45 minutes and recenter myself before I reintegrate back into my life. Whatever need be. There was something I wanted to touch on because there was something you said. It's about the finances. I want to go back to the finances real quick. If I were in charge of finances and I was paying all of the bills, I would 100% expect you to come to me and be like, hey, babe, do we have $500 for me to blow on this? Instead of just blowing $500. Because I don't know what rent or mortgage or insurance or car payment is coming out of what bank account. I got to do this TikTok thing. I look at 8 different bank accounts when I open my app. I don't know which is what. And I'm not going to commit that to memory because I'm not paying any of it. This is useless information for me. I'm going to replace that with feeding my family or working on the podcast. So if the roles were reversed and you had to clear with me to spend $800 on a bike part, people wouldn't be talking shit.
No, of course not. Because it's not financial abuse when it's coming from a woman.
Right.
That's not the conversation that's being had in the public sphere.
It's the stigma of a man that they want to have brought to the forefront.
So let's change it then so that it's more of a relevant conversation. Let's say that we had $300 for the month after all the bills were paid.
Okay.
And that was our gas money and our food money.
Okay.
We took Both vehicles at the gas station, filled it up. That left us with like $217. $270 for groceries. And you order everything on Instacart, and I just go to Publix. And I buy all the shit that I think that we're going to need, and then Instacart back charges. And we have double food. None of it aligns to the meals that you're going to create because I bought shit that I want to eat while I'm there.
Right.
And now we have NSF fees because things got bounced. Anything that got charged after that, including what we bought in gas, could be backed. So now we're looking at like $120 in NSF fees. All of that could have been a very simple conversation of, hey, did you order that DoorDash or Instacart or do I need to go to Publix?
Right.
And if I'm going to Publix, can you text me the list? Right? Like if that conversation is that easy to have and is that common sense behavior, why wouldn't it be common sense behavior to simply check in about the finances to make sure that we're not bouncing bank accounts?
Right.
Okay. I think that's everything that I got for this one.
Okay.
I have other notes that I want to talk about, but I don't want to get too far into those because I don't want to take away from potential episodes that we're going to have in the future. We have been going for an hour. I would really like to do some love story emails.
Okay. So this one is titled, I have so much shit over here. Asked for first date stories. Hello, beautiful people. You asked for first date stories on your live stream on 5/16, and I thought that I would share mine. When I met my boyfriend in 2019, I was 18 and he was 19. I need to take a second to process that. A 19-year-old in 2019 was born in 2000. Mm-hmm. We're in 2024. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. People born in 2005 are adults now.
The original Crow movie was released in 1993.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna spiral in how fleeting life is. I need to get back into the email. Me and my boyfriend met on Tinder, of all places. I was on there hoping to find at least one nice guy, so I decided to be extremely picky to weed out the bad ones as well as I could based on my knowledge of men at the time. My boyfriend was there because his friends told him to. I thought his bio was funny and he was cute, no major red flags, so I thought maybe this isn't a bad one.
How can you ascertain somebody's red flags over Tinder?
You can't.
I've never ever. I was on Match.com in like 1997 or 98, right? So like,
yeah,
dating sites weren't like that. Facebook didn't even exist yet,
right?
So like, how are you? If the entire thing is a picture and a bio, I'm assuming, because again, I've never been on Tinder. How are you ascertaining a red flag from somebody? Is it their photo? Does it say I have a job?
Vibe.
Okay.
It's the vibe.
Curious how that works.
I don't know. I think dating apps are one of the most anti-feminist things ever created.
Ooh, elaborate on that one. Because Bumble was made for women to initiate to men and not the other way around. And they've just recently changed their policy because it's too hard to initiate a conversation.
Because it's giving any partner, judge me based on my appearance.
Okay.
Look at me and determine whether I'm not attractive, and then maybe we can have a conversation. But isn't that the issue in real life? Don't approach me.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're fucking right. That's exactly it. You're right.
What are we doing?
Okay.
Back into the email?
Yep.
I was going to delete my account the day I found him. I had a feeling about him, so I messaged him first. He messaged back, and immediately we hit it off. I was watching for red flags in his verbiage as well. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I'm drinking a soda. After about a week of talking, he asked for my number. Not my Snapchat, not my Instagram, my number. It was a major green flag to me. Our first date, I wanted something public, so we went bowling at a fun plex.
Okay, I dig that. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's
non-traditional dates.
Right. Let's talk about that for a second though. They're underage because they're 18 and 19, so they can't go somewhere to drink.
Right.
They picked a daytime activity like bowling.
Or it could have been cosmic bowling. It could have been like,
oh
late
yeah,
night.
I forgot about that. They did that blacklight shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, but that's it. That's something that a normal adult should be doing for a date.
Right.
Remove the alcohol, remove the expectation, and know
Remove the inhibitors.
that when you leave the bowling alley, you're fucking leaving separate. There's no, hey, come over, right? Like, we just went bowling and had some discussions. I learned that you can't bowl, or we had to use the bumper rails, right?
Yeah.
Or you do this.
Fucking uncoordinated bitch. You're so cute.
Okay. Good first date.
It is.
Regardless of your age, good first date.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I would also accept a first date at one of those massive trampoline jump houses. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Spider.
You gonna put on Velcro suit, stick to the wall?
Yes.
Okay.
That's that, right? That's there? Or is that a different thing?
I think that they do have those at some
okay.
of those trampoline
Can
parks.
we do that?
If it wasn't for my spine, I mean, I might be willing to try it. It might cripple me, but I'm pretty gangster on a trampoline.
Are you?
You'd be surprised.
I can do a front flip.
You know how impressed you were when you saw me on roller skates?
Yes.
I'm better on trampoline.
No way.
Yep.
I didn't get the time on a trampoline. That
I
makes me
fucking
sad.
lived on one.
I got a hairline fracture in my ankle and my mom got rid of it. No, I'm wrong. No, my sister and 10 of her friends broke it. And then she got rid of it.
That's crazy to think that somebody had 10 friends.
Right? Wild. All right, back into the email. The plan was I was going to meet him there, but he asked if I wanted him to pick me up. I thought on that for a little bit because what girl doesn't want this cute boy to come to her door and pick her up for the first date? He asked me 3 times to make sure that's what I wanted, and he was making sure I felt safe, and he didn't want to force anything. At this point, I am starting to really like this guy. Ooh, y'all, okay, so she did it. Can't change the past. You do not know where I live. I don't want you to know where my neighborhood is. I don't want you to know what city I'm in. Well, you're going to know what city I'm in. But we're going to meet somewhere that's at least 30 minutes away from my house.
You know that we live in safer times than we did 40 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but still, I'm just me.
That was the norm. That was my normal.
Yeah?
Going to people's houses and picking them up.
Yeah.
Knowing where your friends were at, where the bikes were.
Oh,
You could literally know where every house in the neighborhood was that had children because there was 9 bikes out front.
Oh, I'm talking like in the dating game.
Right. So in terms of a dating game,
Right.
unless you had parents that were driving you somewhere and dropping you off, chances were you had an older friend that had a car that was coming to pick everyone up. So everybody knew where everybody lived. That just wasn't a concern.
Right, she met this guy on Tinder.
Oh yeah. I forgot about the internet
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Forgot about that. That wasn't a thing for me. So
I was like, babe, what do you? That's terrifying.
yeah, you're right. I don't think about that. I've never
Right.
experienced that. You remember when Tyler told us that he got on Tinder just to see what it was like so that he could preach a sermon about it? Oh, he's in town this weekend. He's in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Oh, we should make a trip. If we can.
Maybe.
If we can.
He's preaching Thursday and Sunday. Tomorrow and Sunday. Fuck, dude, this week's flying by. Anyways.
Okay. Moving on?
Yep.
Okay. So he shows up my house on time and comes to my door and knocks. I was sweating. I was so nervous. I opened the door and oh my word, this guy is dang cute. I gave him my best megawatt smile and said hi. It takes him a second to say hi and asked if I was ready to go. Left that homie speechless with that smile. Didn't know what to do with himself. I like catching you in moments like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes me feel good. Moments like that because they're not an all the time moment.
No.
If it was an all the time moment,
It wouldn't have any meaning.
right, you're just blowing up my skirt at that point.
Yep.
So when those moments happen, I'm kind of like, I'm taken aback a little bit. I'm like, oh, I just did that. To him, it was me. You know that song, the one I would asking all these
Yeah,
questions.
I knew that's where you were going
Yeah.
with it because of the cadence,
What?
but
Him? On the drive there, we had the easiest conversation I ever had. It felt like I had known him all my life. After we bowled, he asked if I wanted to go do any other activities at the Funplex, and I said mini golf sounds fun, and made him a proposition. I said if he plays for the mini golf and the bowling, if he pays for the mini golf and the bowling, Then I want to go to dinner and I'll pay for it. Thankfully, he agreed because I did not want this day to end.
So they went bowling, then did mini golf, and then went to dinner. So they spent an entire day together on their first date. I love that. Did. Also, mini golf is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Especially when you're talking shit to each other.
Talk a lot of shit.
It makes it so much more fun.
Even when I was losing. We were on the last hole and I was like, yeah, you better buck up, buddy. This hole in one is going to put me 10 points ahead. You're so secretly good at everything.
I'm old. I have life experience.
Hey, babe, let's play saxophone together.
Fuck.
No, I'm kidding.
Bust out one of those cones.
Oh my gosh.
How funny would that be? I'm going to secretly learn how to play.
Oh, man.
Just so when you do that, I'd be like, I'm going to wreck you.
and then I'll really hype up my cockiness. Like, I'll fucking peacock all of it. I'll walk out with my saxophone just like this because I'm so cocky. I want you to know it. And then you just bust it out and start playing like sing, sing, sing. I would probably set myself on fire.
Play I Believe from the Lost Boys movie with a fake mullet on.
Is that I Believe, I Believe, I Believe? Is that the song?
No.
No?
No. Are we going to have to watch Lost Boys again?
Probably. Okay. I remember the Michael.
They say his name like 137 times in that movie.
They do. For anybody wondering, I was just referencing the song from the end of Shrek when Donkey was singing I Believe.
Yeah.
That's Donkey off of Shrek. There's a delay.
Yeah.
And then you guys got it. I love that. I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm getting a hug from all of my children right now. All right, so they're continuing the day. They're going to go to dinner. My nervous ass tripped during mini golf.
Jenny said, I am so good at mini golf.
My nervous ass tripped during mini golf and fell awkwardly, and the sweet man asked if I was okay and helped me up laughing.
Oh, man, the embarrassment.
My face was the color of tomatoes.
Yeah, the embarrassment. Oh, my fucking God. I bet you she will never forget that moment.
I would have played it up. I'm a damsel in distress. Help me, daddy. Yeah. Yep.
That's funny.
Has that ever worked for you? Like the whole damsel in distress thing, like you helping me up, has it ever made you feel like a macho man?
No.
Damn.
It's funny though.
I've romanticized every single time you pick me up. Every single time. Oh no, I've embarrassed myself like the emailer. Holy shit. Okay, I'm glad I embarrassed myself so I can show that I am capable of being made fun of and not uptight. I got a point for that. On our way to dinner, he had some music playing through the car, and I mentioned the song that was playing was the perfect slow dancing song. Let me tell you, this man pulled over on one of the busiest streets in our city, blasted the music, and proceeded to drag me out of the car to slow dance on the side of the road.
No way. Bro, you need to slow down. You're setting the bar way too fucking high for most people. That's gangster.
That is really gangster.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, like the teenager in me is really fucking happy for her right now.
Yeah. Yep.
I wish I was loved like that when I was 18.
You're loved like that now, though.
I am loved like that now, yeah.
We've slow danced in the back of a van in 100-degree weather.
Right, with me wearing nothing but your super heavy Sherpa jacket in that 90-degree weather. Yeah. You're making the rest of my life really dope.
I'm trying.
Does anybody have a counter going for how many times I've cried today?
I think this is probably the most tear-heavy episode we've ever done.
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Man. That's so beautiful. And he hasn't been hurt yet.
Yeah.
You can tell this young man has not been hurt yet. Maybe he has, but not to the extent of not wanting to ever do this again.
Yep.
And that's so beautiful.
You know what's crazy to me is the hijacked red pill movement that is being pushed over the internet and feminism. It's not one side, it's both. Will ensure that less and less men behave like that.
Yeah. Okay. My mucus is really going because I'm crying. There's so much going on with me over here. Let me tell you, I was already falling in love with this guy. Our first kiss was after the slow dance on the side of the road. He said that I was giving him a look like I wanted him to kiss me, but I begged to differ. I was just flabbergasted with how amazing the date was going. I will not complain, though. Dinner went just as smoothly. The conversation was so smooth all night long. I also want to comment on how confident this guy is. I fucking love that. Okay. The conversation was smooth all night long. The waitress even commented on how cute we were. We stayed at the restaurant until they started cleaning up, and then we realized how long we had been talking. We quickly left and said sorry to the staff for being so late.
I have to pause you.
Okay.
Apple Fritter said, as much as I wish I was loved like this at 18, I'm glad I wasn't. I don't think I would have appreciated Tom as much as I do if it wasn't for my past relationships.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Okay.
If I stayed me at 18 didn't deserve this. And like, that sucks, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, I was not the type of girl. In order to be treated sweetly, you need to be honey. Like, and I was not that. I was more of a porty potty with an air freshener in it.
Damn.
Yeah. It wasn't bad when you first walked into it, but after you've been in there shitting for 45 minutes.
No, it is really bad when you first walk into it.
No, because you have to go that bad. You're like...
You're grateful.
Yeah.
You're grateful for that stench, but it's that bad.
But then you're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I should have waited till I got home. Yeah. It was 5 minutes before closing time. I directed him back to my house the long way because every fiber of me did not want this night to be over. Our second date was a week later. I wanted to make him dinner. I always wanted to cook for my person, and he wanted my food. That's a really good feeling, I'm not going to lie. Like, knowing that you enjoy the meals that I cook and you would rather have me cook versus ordering DoorDash.
Yeah.
This might sound really stupid, but it helps me to feel loved.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the ways that I express my love. And you accepting that, oh my God. This is one of those moments where I feel like an inconvenience to myself because of my emotions. Holy shit. So she started cooking. I invited him over to my parents. I told my mom that I don't want him meeting her yet. People don't deserve to willy-nilly meet my mom. They need to earn that. My mom thought that this was cute. Dinner went well. He loved the food. He watched a movie that night, and I was falling so hard for him. After our second date, we started to FaceTime every night. At first, we said goodnight and then hung up. One night, we fell asleep on FaceTime, and after that, we never ended the call. Fast forward to about 1 to 2 months later, he asked me out on a breakfast date, and we went early because I told him that it was my mom's birthday, so we had to be snappy. We were waiting for our table, and I wanted to show him that I wanted to commit my time and effort to him. I was going to show him by deleting my Tinder account to show him that I wanted to stay and see where he and I go. Before I could do that, this man asked me to be his girlfriend. Of course, I said yes and then told him about the Tinder thing, which at this point was self-explanatory. He told me that he had deleted his Tinder after he got my number.
You gonna cry again?
It's making me think about us. Snapchat was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
Like us getting rid of that. Before you broached that conversation, I was trying to figure out how to bring it up to you because I didn't want us to have Snapchat as a couple. But we were also so early on that I didn't want to seem controlling or vindictive.
Yeah. I don't care that should seem controlling. You know, I'm not an overly jealous person. I'm possessive.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're my woman. In that aspect, I own that. But it takes a lot for me to feel jealousy. And that whole topic got broached because I saw a Snapchat notification pop up and I was in my feelings about it. Like who you talking to on Snapchat?
Yeah.
We don't need this anymore. Like this is cheating app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you being on board and actually being the one to initiate that conversation was one of those huge safety things for me. Like early on in our dating, that was one of those, like, he might be the fucking one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want transparency with us. I don't want there to be unspoken bitterness, right? Because that shit becomes resentment and it snowballs. Like I don't want somebody putting pickles on my burger to be the reason that we have a fucking major meltdown because I'm repressing a whole bunch of shit that we should have talked about.
Right.
Yeah, I would rather have a quick, uncomfortable discussion and move the fuck on with my day than ruin a week of our life because I've been holding shit in. So like, we need to have those conversations right now and then get past it. That was one of the rules that we laid down in the beginning. We're talking about shit when it happens. If that means we have to walk away, quick text message, like step outside with me, like we're going to have that discussion and then go back to normal living our lives.
Yeah.
If that means we have to fucking leave somewhere because we need to have a really hard talk, I'm ready to go. Like I'll grab my keys, babe. Like
I think a really good example of that was when I texted you while we were doing those Matrix interviews.
Yeah. Yep. And we did. We stepped outside and had that conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Back into the email?
Yep.
I still thought it was significant, so I still had him watch. It was then that I realized how bad this is. Our anniversary would be my mom's birthday. We have changed the date to the day after my mom's birthday. It has been a beautiful 4 years, 5 years this August. He has come camping with my family thousands of times. He gets along so well with everyone and everyone loves him. He has opened my door ever since our first day, and not once has he forgotten. I go to his family functions and he comes to mine. We have had some hurdles to get over. I was always bad with communication, so that was the main reason we had disruptions. But after almost 5 years, we had never had an argument.
That's an important distinction.
It is, yeah. Because in my mind, disruptions come to resolution.
Right.
Arguments don't.
Arguments get ugly.
Right.
Disruptions come from, I picked that word because it's a speed bump. Yeah. Like we have somebody in the road holding a stop sign on the interstate right now. Mm-hmm. Like traffic jam.
Yeah.
We're still getting to our fucking destination today.
Right.
Right. It's a disruption.
Yeah. And you picked that word because we broached a conversation of I didn't like it when we referred to it as arguments because it didn't feel like arguments to me. Right? Arguments to me is we're screaming at each other and we're throwing things and we're slamming doors and we're not talking to each other for 3 or 4 days. Right. Like that's an argument.
The moment it gets ugly. Yep.
Yeah. All right. My attitude has always been bad. With his love and guidance, I have been able to reel that in. Yeah. I attribute me being able to keep my crazy at bay due to your love and guidance. Like those moments when I have a breakdown and like me saying that is always just a finger touch away. Your love and your belief in me and believing that I can be somebody who is not that is really a driving force for me.
But you've shown me that you're not that.
Right.
This goes back to the conversation we had earlier. There's not a piece of glass in between you and your old self. You need some tissue?
Yeah, I used them all. Thank you. Oh, God, fuck. You guys are just going to sit here with me for a minute. Thank you.
That's one of those things where what I was saying was that goes back to the conversation that we were having earlier where there's not a piece of window between the you and old you staring at each other.
Right.
I don't see the old you because you've never given me the old you. And if you've given me the old you, it's been small ripples of that has been left over that you haven't worked through yet. It just hasn't dissipated. I see who you are now because that's who I live with every day. And to think that there's not going to be echoes of your past in your life is foolish. I'm aware of that. You're going to deal with my demons from time to time. Those are my echoes. I'm working through that. Sound takes time. Vibrations take time to stop vibrating. Yeah. Right. So, but that just comes from basic understanding and being willing to be there for somebody. So, was that the end of the email?
No, we're on the last paragraph.
Okay.
I have always been independent. I don't need no man. And with your podcast and him, I am no longer that way.
It's such a toxic mindset to have.
It really is.
How are you going to be that and in that mindset and then want to be with a man? How is that going to ever work?
Yeah. You know, I've said it multiple times and I will continue to say it and I will continue to own it that I was that person. I would be in a relationship with a man, look him in the face and say, fuck all men. I don't need you. And now with I broke the fourth wall of my existence and I can recognize that my actions have fallout. I have never had a conversation with any of my exes about how that affected them mentally, but I can imagine that because I would hit them with fuck all men but you.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not but you because to him, he is like every other man. Has the same struggles of every other man, has the same thought processes, the same emotions, the same feelings of not feeling important. And here I am just fucking confirming it, but you're different because you're with me and I'm fucking special.
Right.
That mindset is so damaging.
Yep.
I could imagine that instigating an imposter syndrome. Like she's saying, fuck all men, but me, but I am a man, so this doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Yeah. Does that mean I'm less of a man? Does she not view me as a man? Like, what is that? I'm going down a rabbit hole now of my own making. Because that doesn't make sense. Okay. We spend every day together, and if we can't, it feels like such a long time since I've seen him. My family has not been lucky in the marriage department, lots of divorces. Divorce is not an option for me. His parents are still married and still very much in love. I look up to them. He wants to be able to take care of me and me take care of the house and errands, so he wants a better paying job than he will propose.
Yep. Married men make more money than non-married men. Mm-hmm. Statistically, it's by about 20%.
Yeah.
We're more likely to get raises. Mm-hmm. We're more likely to ask for raises. Right. And we're more likely to show up when called because there's a life dependent upon us.
There's a driving force.
Right. Those are all statistics. You can Google that shit. It's there. Real quick, while you're thinking of that thought, I want to plug the Voice of the Broken. Okay. For all of you guys who are currently listening, women too, I have created a side project called The Voice of the Broken. It is thevoiceofthebroken.com, or you can click the link that's at the top of the chat that will take you there. Mm-hmm. I am doing content that is geared specifically towards men, but ladies, you will get a whole lot of benefit from it. A whole lot of benefit. I would also like to put it out there for you, babe, that in the event that you try to do the women's segment for the garden and you are unable to get through those and would like me to do them, I will sit with you to do those if that's what you want to do.
Okay.
But I do think it's important to get the stories. Also, real quick, before we move back on, we're getting just as much relationship information and content from this email as we would from a trauma dump.
We are.
Something to think about.
Right.
Okay. Wizards.
What did you say before you started talking about the Voice of the Broken? Like you completed a thought and then moved on.
You were thinking. You had the staring off into space thought process
because something you
going.
said triggered it.
I have no fucking idea.
You don't remember.
Chat, what were we talking about? She was wanting, we were talking about work, finances.
Right.
Men
finances.
Make 20% more because we have, yes.
It's back. Okay. So they make more. So you could say married men overall feel more fulfilled.
Yes.
Okay.
If they have a good marriage.
Right. If they have a good marriage.
Okay.
Right. So if they have a good marriage. Oh God, where was I going with that? It's gone. The first letter started with a G, but the rest of it's gone.
You want some other fun facts?
Yes.
Men who kiss their wives goodbye before leaving live longer.
Oh, I'm glad we do that.
Men who are married who kiss their wives every time they leave the house they live longer.
I wonder why
on
that
average.
is.
Because we're aware that there is somebody waiting for us at home. We make better decisions. We may not speed in the car. We are not going to be as reckless knowing that there are people at home depending on us. If we leave, if we're in the roommate phase and a man leaves the house and he knows that that person that's at the house is living like a roommate, he doesn't view them as a wife. He views them as a roommate. He views them as just that person that he's cohabitating with, not loving. They also say that men who work high dangerous jobs have a higher success rate at those jobs of surviving if they kiss their wives before they leave the house. Yep.
I believe that because you're going to work with love on your mind.
Right. And not hatred.
That's a big deal for me that every time you leave the house, it's, I love you.
Yeah.
Like calm, peace, come back.
So let's add to that though, because if you're a blue collar worker and you open your lunchbox and one of your 3 sandwiches has a fucking bite taken out of it with a taste test to make sure it's not poison, because if it is, I'm going with you kind of thing. Like I love you notes. There is a subconscious fulfillment that comes from that. You might get the text message at lunch like, babe, I saw the bite. Thank you for making my lunch today. Right? Like you are initiating a whole lot of things, not just intimacy. You are initiating conversations, feelings, hope, desires. And that could be the difference between your man doing something really fucking stupid at work versus going, nah, that's dangerous. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Right? I have fucking little legs following me around all day and a wife who loves me. I'm not doing that. Go blow yourself up. I'm not doing it. Very different situation because we're not living for ourselves at that point. When you give a man something to live for, a man, not a male, a man, you get a very different version of that man than you would if he was just living his life. Yep.
I have a question for you.
Okay. No. I don't know what you're going to ask.
So you...
24. 42.
No.
Okay.
You use that example a lot of putting notes in the lunchbox or taking a bite out of the sandwich. We're together almost 24/7.
Right. You want to know what the equivalent is?
Yeah.
Making sure that my food is on the table before everybody else's.
Okay.
And the equivalent of that for you is me making sure that nobody else takes a fucking bite of their food until you sit down with your plate. You know what else that does? That lets me know that of everybody that's getting served, your food is the freshest. It's the hottest. It's been the last plate to touch the table. So even though you're making me a priority to get my food first, I'm not eating it. It's a show.
It's for show, yeah.
Look how important you are, babe. I made your food first. Who benefits the most from that? It's not me or the kids. It's you because you get the hot fucking plate. Everybody else gets to wait on you to sit down. You are the fucking big dick at the table.
Yeah.
So I might be sitting at the top of the thing and ready to go. Who really fucking holds the power in that? Right? But it makes me feel good. And when we go places and like we're at our family's Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner or a fucking outing and you get up and get me a drink or make me a plate and everybody sees that, that is a fucking flex for me. I'm like, yeah, my woman loves me enough to fucking make sure that my needs are met. So when I go to work or I'm editing for 9 fucking hours and I don't want to do this anymore and I look at you and I'm like, I fucking hate this and I don't want to do this anymore, and you see me go back to work, you know why I'm going back to work. That's what that is. There are so many ways to show that.
Okay.
And it's so much deeper than just to taking a bite of a sandwich or leaving a note.
I try to think of new ways to find an equivalent of that. I don't want you to get bored.
No, it's not a boredom thing. I don't take that shit for granted.
Okay.
That's why I thank you every time that you bring me a plate. Like, it's why I eat the food even if it's got too much salt in it, right? Like,
oh, I feel so bad about that.
It's an ebb and flow.
Yeah. Do you feel the same way about me making your dinner and putting it in the microwave even though it's cold when you get home?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, because you could have just put everything away, right?
Yeah.
I could have had to come into the kitchen at midnight, get my plate, pull all of that shit out of the refrigerator, put it in the plate, put everything back, throw it in the microwave, cook it, eat it, clean my plate. Instead, you did all of that before putting it away, and all I have to do is push 3 buttons on a microwave, eat my food, clean my plate, and go to bed.
Yeah.
There's a love in that. There's a service in that. You realize I'm going to be home at midnight. I'm fucking tired. You know how many times I have actually come home late like that and just went to bed?
Because you didn't want to, you were too tired to cook.
It did. My hunger was not important enough for me to go out there and do all of that just to go to sleep afterwards. I'll eat in the morning. I'll eat tomorrow at lunchtime if that's what you know what I mean? That's the thing for people.
One of the ways, I know acts of service is a love language, right? But one of the ways that I really try to love you is to eliminate as much thinking as possible on my end for you.
God, I fucking appreciate that so much.
Like,
Bill Gates wore the same thing.
Yeah. If you didn't have texture issues with your outfits, I would 100% be okay with figuring out your outfits every day too.
Yeah. I never know what my texture issues are going to be either until I touch my shirts in the morning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Finishing off the email. Waiting this long will just make me savor it even more, right? Meaning for him to propose. Either way, this is a love I never thought I would get. I plan on to hold on to him until death takes my hand, and then I will hold him with my other one. Thank you for fixing... Oh, this is messages for the wizards. Just thanking us for Discord and reading the email.
Okay. Immortal Ninja from Twitch said, deep question. How do you know you love your partner and it's not just because you have a child together? If you have to ask that, you're not in love with your partner. Yeah. Super chats. Let's open Discord. I put it over here for you.
Oh, yay.
Would you like to read another one of those?
Another one of emails?
Another love story? Or do you want to just read these and call it a day?
Let's get through super chats because I'm supposed to pick up the kids at 2:30.
Okay. Right there.
All right. From Shots561. Hey, guys. This is my first live. I'd like to ask the best approach to get my girlfriend to watch your love language videos. I've shown her you guys before, and she seemed not so interested. Oh, gosh. I bet she's put off by me, and that's okay.
Could be me.
No, I believe when a woman is not interested in watching the podcast, it is because of me.
You think so?
I do, because I don't validate foolish things.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to women. I hold women to a very high standard.
I just think you're so much more palatable than I am.
I believe I am too. You're like the Rice Krispie Pops inside of the chocolate, right? If you're not expecting it, you're like, what the fuck is this? So, right. I don't know.
That's funny.
I wish that I could be as brash as you are sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm a fucking doormat because I am passive and oh God, even when someone's fucking wrong, I want them to feel validated. And I think that at a certain point is a toxic flaw inside of me. So back to what I was saying. If I were you, I would watch the love language videos, make notes, and then talk to her about the notes. If she's put off by us on the podcast, starting a conversation with, hey, I got this from Chris and Peaches, she's already going to check out of the conversation. You can even do the love language quiz together. That's on a totally separate website, not related to us at all.
Yeah.
You could
buy
do
the
that.
book.
Right, you could buy the book. You can make it a fun date night. Be like, babe, let's take these quizzes and then go above and beyond on our date to make sure that these are met versus just sitting here and watching a movie together. Like if your love language is quality time, let's go out on a dinner date and then go play mini golf together.
I'm going to give you the answer for all of these people moving forward.
Okay.
Because it just hit me.
What?
The first thing you do is explain what a request for connection is.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what a request for connection is, that is you letting your partner know that you want their attention. If we're driving down the road in a car and I see a Bentley, I'm like, yo, look at that Bentley. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah, whatever. You just denied my request for connection, right? I'm trying to have a conversation with you about something that I think is cool. I'm excited. Mm-hmm. You shit on that. Right. So you explain to them what a request for connection is. Once they understand what a request for connection is, you'd be like, hey, I found this thing that I really would like to watch with you. This is a request for connection. Mm-hmm. Because they've just clarified that they know what it is. So if they say no, they are then denying your request for connection. Right. And they are doing so knowingly.
So you're denying love.
Now you tell me everything that I need to know.
Heard.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I don't like Twilight. Mm-hmm. Glittery Vampires doesn't do it for me. Yeah. But if you were like, I really want to watch this dumbass movie with you, I'd be like, all right,
You can be on your phone the whole time as long as you're just in the room with me.
If I fall asleep, just don't get mad.
Can I make stupid comments and you don't just, you can pretend laugh at them, but don't let me know you're pretend laughing at them.
You don't want me to fake it?
Yeah. I mean, it can be fake. Just don't make it obviously fake. And don't tell me that it's
So you
fake.
don't want me to go, ha, ha, ha.
No.
Ha.
I would prefer you just to look at me the way you do sometimes versus the fake laugh like that. Yeah.
That's funny.
From Allie, whoa, I was the same way. Thank you, Peaches. I never understood why I was that way. I'm glad I could help you realize something. From Samantha, the fact that when Chris said the midnight stack joke and he kept going, I was like, bro, she's not hearing a damn word you're saying. Knowing Peach. Correct.
I knew that too.
Right. It was for the skit. You kept going.
It was fun.
Was that Seiko? Seiko. I'm crying now. My husband dragged me out of the front door last week to dance in the rain. I love the rain and couldn't stop crying. Oh.
Well, it's a good thing it was raining. Nobody could see your tears. Lyrics from an Atmosphere song.
Lyrics from an Atmosphere song?
Yep. No one sees the tears when you're standing in the storm.
Oh, man. That sounds like a song lyric.
Mm-hmm. It's God Loves Ugly by Atmosphere.
I'll have to listen to that song. I don't know if this is just me with my borderline and I go through the things that I go through. When you connect with me and tell me that you understand, like you might not understand what I'm going through, but like you hear me that I'm going through it and you give me a hug, that's like world shattering to me.
You know how hard that is for me?
Really hard. I know it is. There are times where I know it's hard for you and I want to tell you don't worry about it, but I know that would be shutting down your trying to comfort me. There are times where I feel guilty.
You shouldn't feel guilty about it. Because if I wasn't capable of doing it, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. And if it was bad enough that like I really can't do this right now, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. But it allows me to, so this falls into making sure that I am fulfilling the needs in our relationship. Yeah. Because if I wasn't able to give you the hug and the compression that you need in the moment, and you felt disconnected from me, how long would it be before you started looking to feel that connection from somebody else? Right. I'm aware of that.
And there are times where I have to request that hug.
Sometimes.
Like you don't know what I need in the moment. And that's also okay. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to throw that out there for the people like, well, what if there's times where he doesn't? Then you ask.
Yep.
I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh, I do remember where I was going with that. When you comfort me, I'm not just saying this to say this to make a point. This is the fucking truth of my life. I have never had somebody comfort me the way you comfort me and make efforts to love me the way you love me. So when I am crying and I'm going through it, I am so used to just being by myself. And I am self-soothing by rubbing my legs or rubbing my hands, or I'm repeating phrases to myself. When you hug me and hold me, it's like you're literally pulling me out of this darkness. And it's not like the world is okay again, but I'm not by myself. Oh man, that speaks a lot of my abandonment, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm so used to being by myself. And I cry by myself a lot because I know it's hard for you. I should probably stop doing that. I'm going to have to stop doing that. That's hard for me.
Well, you in doing that, you need to understand that there's a difference between crying because you're an emotional person and crying to weaponize.
Right.
And we've had the conversations about my past and how I've watched women weaponize and use that. And I know when that's the case. And if I'm starting to feel like that's what you're doing, we're going to have a talk about that because I'm not going to allow myself to be manipulated. And if I start feeling like that's the case, we have a bigger fucking problem here. Yeah. Like the connection is fucked up if I feel that. Right. So.
Yeah. From Raylan Edwards, can you explain in detail how it's not jealous to not want your spouse to visually check out other people? Okay, I need to reread that one more time. Explain in detail how it's not jealousy to not want your spouse to visibly check out other people. My husband cites people who don't care about that as not being jealous.
I actually do believe that's jealousy. I also believe that there's a level of security there. There's a level of respect there. There's a level of love there. There's a level of once you've lusted after another person, even in your mind, you've already committed adultery. Like there's a whole lot of conversation that can be had about that. The reality is, if we had a relationship from the beginning where I was one of those guys who looked at other women and you fucking knew who that was and you tried to change that, that's part of my character.
Right.
If we had multiple discussions and you're like, I don't like men who look at other women, and you're like, right, I don't either. And then I started doing it, that's a different discussion as well.
Yeah, it is.
If I'm fucking staring at another chick's ass, that's disrespectful as a motherfucker. It's not jealousy.
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
I know you don't like that shit. I know that if I was looking at that thinking it's a fucking snack and not you, there's a bigger fucking problem here. That's not jealousy. There's disrespect being had. However, from your standpoint, that is jealousy because I'm doing something that is reserved for you to another person. That's something that you crave from me as your man. How is that not jealousy?
That's something I'm only supposed to be able to get from you as my man.
Right.
So there is a level of jealousy, and there's also a level of, oh man, that can turn into a control thing.
Right.
That's a lot.
Why would you take that jealousy as a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing?
Because it boils down, I think, to a lot of people, a control thing.
How is that control though? If we're in a monogamous relationship, there is a set level of expectation that's had.
Right.
If that conversation was never had, if we were both under the impression that it's okay to have a celebrity crush that would give us a hall pass, because that's a thing for a lot of people, or we had, it's okay to be on a diet and still look at the menu, that was the expectation set.
Right.
If the conversation was, we've both been cheated on, we've both cheated on others, we are going to prevent this from being a thing ever. These are not okay behaviors. We're going to hold each other to that standard. That's a different conversation as well. I think that jealousy is kind of a good thing.
Right.
There's a love that's had there still. You obviously still want me to fawn over you. And seeing me fawn over another person tells me a whole lot of things. I'm denying that from you. Your attention meter's not being filled. I'm obviously got eyes for other fucking people. There's a whole lot of things that go into that.
Yeah.
You guys, manipulation is a word that's used with a negative intent. We just did an episode about this. If somebody tells you,
I love that you did that for me.
right. That's
a manipulation.
Yes, it fucking is.
Because that's praise and you're going to want to do it again.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Because the praise makes you feel good.
Right. We put our own meaning to things. And if we understand what the word is a fucking word.
Right.
The intent behind the word is what the problem is. So you can say, that makes me jealous. And unless I think jealousy is this evil fucking thing, I could be like, damn, you're jealous about that? You still into me like that? You gonna smack your butt when you walk by? Right? Like,
yeah, fucker, you better be.
Right. The intent. Right. What we assign to what is going on matters.
I want to touch on the hall pass for the celebrity. People do that because they believe that it will never happen. It's a fantasy. Yeah, if you ever meet Johnny Depp, you have a hall pass. Yeah, right. We have a level of fame I never expected us to have.
Right.
Could you imagine if we continued elevating the way we are and then suddenly I'm in the same room as the hall pass you gave me with somebody? You never know where life is going to take you.
It's true.
You never fucking know. Even if I never sleep with that person, you know that I want to. And now I'm in a room chit-chatting with this person and we've exchanged social medias and we're talking. It's a fucking problem.
Right. I have a problem with that. I mean, obviously that's 100% valid. I have a problem with that on the level of knowing that you would be okay with fucking around on me. Because that's what you're telling me. If you have a celebrity crush and you want a hall pass in case you ever get alone with them to fuck them, you are telling me very clearly that if you have the opportunity to step out, you're going to step out.
Yeah. My mind is also going to run with, well, now you're picturing their face over mine when we're having sex.
Right.
You're not thinking about kissing me. You're thinking about kissing Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good on that. From Better Built Dogs. What's up, Dakota? Married men feel more purpose and responsibility.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm. From Jessica, Honor. I read that, my mind went, ha-ner. My fiance proposed in December. We'll be completing our paperwork next week. I'm taking that last name and planning our ceremony for next year. I love that.
We got ordained.
We did.
So that we can marry people.
We can.
Not saying that we want to do your wedding. Just know that
the information's out there. Do with what you will.
At some point, we will probably officiate a wedding.
Yeah. And then from Isabella Sturgis, thank you, thank you, thank you. Signed, a very grateful stay-at-home mom and fulfilled wife.
Ooh, that last line.
That's a good one.
And fulfilled wife. Mm-hmm. That's gangster.
Yes, it is.
All right, babe. It's 2:00. We went a whole 2 hours today, and I know you got to go get the kids.
I do.
So
wrap it up.
Yep, I'm gonna make an episode of this and stick it on to Spotify and Apple and shit for next week.
I think this was a good episode.
So,
yeah.
All right, guys. With that being said, thank you for joining us today. Make sure that you go to the Voice of the Broken and subscribe to the TikTok over there and the YouTube. I'm guaranteed to do 10 episodes, but if this doesn't take off, I won't be doing it anymore. So if you guys want to see more of that content, you have to support it. You have to share it. It's got to grow where it's not going to be worth the time that we spend doing it. So
yeah.
With that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.